I don't know that these short cruises are for me on Celebrity. Good morning from Nassau. It's technically our third day of the cruise, second full day. Taking a look out over Paradise Island this morning. You can see quite a bit of construction going on over there. It's actually an eyesore. They have everything ripped out, and that's because Royal Caribbean has purchased this strip of land, and they're converting it into a beach club that's exclusive to Royal guests. And I'm not sure when that's opening, but I'm hopeful that they get this done soon because it looks pretty rough out here. But you can see it's a beautiful day, a beautiful morning here. Currently 9:40 in the morning on a Sunday morning. You can see Atlantis over there in the distance. And the weather looks like it's going to be a perfect day here in the Bahamas. Well, hello, I'm Zach, and thank you for clicking into this video. This is my third day on board Celebrity Reflection. I'm on one of their quick weekend getaway cruises that they're selling out of Fort Lauderdale. They've been selling these all summer. They're coming to an end pretty soon, but yesterday we were at Perfect Day at CocoCay. So if you didn't see my day at CocoCay Beach Club, make sure you go back and check that out. But today we are here in Nassau, and I normally don't plan too much for Nassau. Nassau is one of those ports that I've been to a lot. So normally I may just get off the ship and walk around, but I've actually not been here since they got the new pier done, or the new port terminal area done. That area underwent a massive multi-million-dollar renovation. They basically leveled everything and built it back. So I may go check that out in a bit and see what that's like. I know there's a lot of ships in port today. We'll check that out in a minute. But first of all, it's 9:42 and I want to go to the Captain's Club breakfast. If you have status elite or higher with Celebrity's Captain's Club, they do have a breakfast every morning, the Captain's Club breakfast. It is free, and they have that here on Reflection in the Tuscan dining room, which is on the back of the ship. I think it ends at 10, so I'm going to get back there now. That's where we're going to go. We're going to have some breakfast. I'll show you about that, what all they have on that menu, just in case you're curious. And then we'll check out Nassau. We'll see what other ships are in port. We'll walk down and see that new port terminal area. So if you've not seen that yet, I'll show it off to you. And yeah, it should be a great day as we conclude our trip here on board Celebrity Reflection. It's pretty quiet this morning as we walk along deck 5. Of course, these are all the shops and they're all closed since we are in port, but very quiet. I've seen very few people. So I think there's a lot of first-time cruisers or first-time to Celebrity cruisers on this ship. So maybe a lot of folks wanted to get out early and explore Nassau and make the most of their day in port. Here's the situation at Cafe Al Bacho. Not a large line at all. I did want to show they do have a selection. These are all free and included, everything in this display case. But they have a selection of croissants, different pastries and danishes and rolls. You can take your selection of any of these. You can just ask the folks that work here and they will get those for you. These are all included. You don't have to pay any additional. So if you just want to grab a coffee and a pastry or a quick danish or something, you certainly can do that. And it's free. Take it with you, get your coffee. Now, coffees you do have to pay for here, so do know that. But not a lot of people here waiting in line. I expected a bigger line, to be honest. We are walking through the Ensemble Lounge here on deck 5. This is a nice area because it's sort of the hub for a lot of different stuff. Michael's Club is right here. Michael's Club is the retreat guest-only club. So if you're staying on the retreat, you have access to Michael's Club. And then right around here, there is an entrance to Murano. Murano is one of the specialty restaurants on board, and that's the one I'm going to recommend if you're coming on the ship. You must dine at Murano. It's very good. And then, of course, a lot of seating and a bar in here at Ensemble. It's a good place to hang out in the evening. And back here in the aft of deck 5, it's kind of like Restaurant Central. There's a lot of restaurants back here. A couple of specialty restaurants. So first you have Cuisine, and this is the home of Le Petit Chef and Family Specialty Restaurant. And then across the way over here you do have Blue. Blue is exclusive to guests staying in Aqua Class or the Spa Class on board the ship. And then our destination this morning, which is Tuscan Grill, a specialty restaurant for dining in the evening. But like I said, it is the location for the Captain's Club breakfast in the mornings, and that's every morning of the cruise, save for embarkation day, of course. So just to show you real quick the menu, and everything on here is included. Even if you don't have a drink package, you can get any of the juices or the smoothies that they have. They have espressos and cappuccinos and Americanos. They also have a few cocktails that you can get. Again, these are all included. No drink or beverage package is required. And then they do have the elite breakfast. They have their fruits and berries. They have breakfast cups. They have fresh baked pastries, artisan cheeses, selection of cold cuts, a smoked salmon platter, or if you just want a little bit of everything, you get that ultimate platter there. and get a little bit of all of it. But that's the situation in here. You can see it's going to be a busy day. Allure of the Seas, one of the mega ships from Royal Caribbean, is in port with us today. They were actually in port with us in Perfect at CocoCay yesterday, and we followed them all the way down here to Nassau. I was watching them last night. They were just a little bit ahead of us. So they're also on a weekend cruise out of Miami. And then over here, Carnival Conquest, another one that's on a weekend cruise out of Miami. So a lot of weekend cruisers on a quick getaway down here to the Bahamas. So I'll show you the spread now. I got my Americano. They brought a little cream with that. Got the muesli. This is the toasted overnight muesli. It's got some bananas, some walnuts, and of course the muesli down in there. So that looks good. I love muesli. That is like my cruise ship favorite. I always get muesli, I feel like, on every cruise for breakfast. And then I got the fruits and berries plate as well. So a nice little breakfast back here for Captain's Club. They're gonna go all the way up from deck 5 up to deck 15 because I want to check out what's going on the other ships that are in port. But I love ascending the elevator on the Solstice class ships because they're the glass elevators and you get such a good view of everything as you're rising. And here we are, deck 15, the Lawn Club. And let me show you something else real quick. I like to show y'all stuff. And this is the porch. I don't know if you're aware of the porch, if you've ever been on Reflection before, but the porch is a specialty restaurant. They are open for lunch. I don't know if they're open for dinner. I don't think so. I think only Lawn Club Grill is open for dinner, but they do have a good lunch here. It is, I think, like $30 or $35 per person, maybe even more. But check this out. It's out here on the Lawn Club, as you get to sit outside, be nice and toasty. But let's go around now and check out what's going on out here in Nassau today. Currently 10:20 in the morning. We'll take a look down at the pool deck. It seems like a lot of people staying on board today. This feels maybe not quite like a sea day, but a little bit more reminiscent of a sea day than it does a port day. So I think a lot of folks are using this day in Nassau to get more time by the pool. So did you know that Nassau is the busiest cruise port in the Caribbean, the most visited cruise port in the Caribbean? And if you don't believe me, we'll just look at this because we have 6 cruise ships in port. If you like cruise ship spotting, Nassau is the place for you. So all the way over there, we have Carnival Sunrise sailing out of Miami. They sell shorter cruises, I think weekend cruises. And then there beside it, let me zoom in a little bit, you have the Carnival Freedom. Notice it doesn't have all of its well tail. That ship has actually caught on fire twice in the past like year and a half. They replaced the well tail once because it caught on fire while they were in port, and then it caught on fire again. Recently got struck by lightning at sea, caught on fire, so now they just cut it off at the top. So that's why their smokestack looks a little different. The Disney Magic, they were actually in port with us in Fort Lauderdale, so they're on a weekend cruise too, probably to Castaway Cay and Nassau. And then Conquest, as I said earlier, also down from Miami on a weekend cruise. And then behind us, Allure of the Seas, one of the largest cruise ships in the world, also down from Miami. So a lot of folks in port today in Nassau. Like I said, if you are a cruise ship spotter, make sure you come to Nassau because you're going to see tons. I think this is probably about a full house too, because I don't see any more empty pier space. Although I thought I did hear at one time they could accommodate 8 cruise ships a day, but I don't know where you'd put them at this point. But it's a lot of cruise ships in port in Nassau today, and I think this is just par for the course. I think this is just about every day in this port now. Ready, he shoots. He misses. Yeah, you missed. All right, so it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, so I'm about to head out and we're gonna check out the port of Nassau. I did go up to Ocean View, up to the buffet a few minutes ago to get a quick snack. Noticed a lot of people back on board now, so I think probably a lot of people got off earlier today, explored around the port, now they're getting back on. So the ship is definitely filling back up. So hopefully when we go over, it won't be as many people, but there are 6 ships in port, so I'm sure it's gonna be super crowded, but we'll check all that out as we take our walk down the pier, down the long pier, because we're at the very end, like this far end of it, and we got to go all the way down it, but we'll check all that out. But before we head out, I want to show you all the activities that are going on around the ship today that are listed in the Celebrity Today pamphlet that they give, just so you can get an idea if you do want to stay on the ship in Nassau, all the things you can do. You see they do have some activities listed right here in the very front page. Join us for a whole new side of poolside. They have had Aqua Fun dance class this morning, a Caribbean dance class, pool volleyball at 12:15, guest versus officer pool volleyball. So those are activities that you normally see on a sea day on other Celebrity cruises, but they're having them during the Nassau day on this cruise. They're having some pool Olympics and an end of day the end of a pool day celebration, and then they're having music at all different times out by the pool. So really, this is kind of like a pseudo sea day. It's a port day, but they do have a lot of stuff going on, and this is very atypical because normally when you are in port, they don't have that many activities going on around the ship. They sort of keep the schedule light because they figure folks are going to be doing stuff in the port. You know, they're going to be exploring and seeing things. But here on Celebrity Reflection on these shorter cruises, they're really putting a lot of activities together, really having a lot for folks to do for those folks that don't get off the ship here in Nassau. So just wanted to share that with you in case you're planning on coming on one of these shorter cruises. And definitely feeling like the salmon swimming upstream because everybody's returning to the ship right now. Just hundreds and hundreds of people walking down here back to their ship. So we made it to the end of the pier now, and you see they got this big screen here where they have some sea life, some sea creatures that interact with you. And actually the shark is now biting the screen. But this is really cool. This was a new addition when they did the refurbishment. And I see a lot of people taking pictures and stuff. Oh, the shark is out, y'all. It's out. But yeah, I think this is a hit for folks. I see a lot of folks that are taking photos and enjoying that. So just exiting the port now, coming by security, and it says to please ensure that you have your ship card and a photo ID in order to return. So make sure you bring that off the ship with you. But welcome to the new port here in Nassau. And I say new, I think it's been open for over a year now, well over a year. I've just not been here yet. They do have a welcome center over here with information, and it says also a logo store. You see they also have the flag of the Bahamas here hanging, and the trees are decorated with the Bahamian flag. They also have a whole taxi booth up here if you need a taxi. Taxis to Cable Beach and Bahamas, taxis to Atlantis and Paradise Island, sightseeing tours, and they got all the prices up here. So if you're going to Paradise Island, so if you want to go over to Atlantis, it's $5 per person each way. Junkanoo Beach is pretty walkable from here, but if you do want to take a taxi, that's also going to be $5 per person each way. It's Cable Beach, $10, Love Beach, $20 per person, and then taxi tours, a 2.5-hour tour is $40 per person. So, I mean, for me, that'd just be $40. That's cheaper than an excursion. So, yeah, just to give you an idea of the taxis, and I think you can just book them here, and then they will tell you where to go out here in order to meet your taxi. So really cool that they have sort of streamlined this a little bit. It's not as crazy as it used to be when you get off here in Nassau and there would just be taxis everywhere. I think you just come to this booth over here, book whatever you need, and then they'll tell you where to go from there to pick up your taxi. And those rates look pretty incredible. So maybe forego an excursion here and just rent a taxi and get them to take you wherever you want to go here in Nassau. As you walk further into the port, you see they got a lot of shops. A lot of this stuff is local. Handmade things that you can buy, and they've got them on both sides over here. So this isn't the straw market. There are signs down on the pier saying, you know, to the straw market this way. That's a little bit further of a walk, but they at least have some local Bahamian made things that you can buy right here in port. You can also come here and get your hair braided if you're looking for a new dude while you're in the Bahamas. So this is all called the Port Marketplace, all these shops and stuff. They have t-shirts, they have like a lot of local food, like rum cakes and different types of spices and stuff that you can get. So a lot of different options here. They also have restrooms right over here, which is important to note. Maybe you need to go before you get back to the ship. If it's a long walk all the way to the other side of the pier, you know you can go to the restroom. And all the buildings here are so colorful. I think they're very, it's very befitting of the Bahamas. All the different colors that you see, and everything is it looks so good. I think they've done such a great job. There's also like standalone eateries like this gelato shop right here. I saw there was a coffee shop right back there. Here's an official port shop. Also have a restaurant here, the Bamboo Shack at the port, with a lot of different stuff. Looks like they have like chicken sandwiches. They had like conch sandwiches, a lot of different things. And then more eateries over here. This is the Island Post Bar and Grill. They have daiquiris, all sorts of things. This restaurant's called Preacher's Kid. They actually have a breakfast sandwich. So maybe if you're here early in the morning before your excursion and want to grab something to eat before you head out and get something here. And then finally, the Port Amphitheater is right here. So maybe they have music and performances here sometimes. Nothing going on today. And you can see this is sort of the entrance to everything that we just saw back that way. So a really neat, much improved. This is so much better than what they used to have here in the Port of Nassau. So if you just want to get off the ship and shop around and see some, you know, like items that you might want to buy, maybe get a local bite to eat at some of the restaurants. This is a perfect place to do that. This directory here kind of shows the entirety of everything. So the Welcome Center down here, this is the pier, of course, and this is where we came in, and then we walked here amongst all the shops and things. The Port Marketplace, down through the Port Plaza, that's where some of the restaurants were, and then the amphitheater here, and then now here's the exit out into the main, the main drag, we'll call it, of Nassau. And what's cool about that is, let me walk around here because I just noticed this. If you were going to the world famous Bahamas straw market, well, when you get to the end of this port area, you just walk out of the gate right here, walk right across the street, and you're there. It's literally right across the street here. So there you go. So it's sort of like an extension almost of the port area. And then there is also shopping and restaurants all down through here. There's like a strip of local restaurants and shops and things. So plenty of opportunities for you to shop. If you want to go to the Senor Frogs, it's just right down there at the end of the street. And if you keep past it, you'll actually get to Junkanoo Beach. But we're actually going to turn and head back. This is as far as I'm going to go. There is a nice breeze as we walk through the port. It's really nice to see the trees sway in the wind, sway in the breeze. But yeah, I've been in Nassau so many times. Normally I would walk around maybe the port area and see some stuff, but I've been here countless times. But it's just been made better now. So if you're coming and usually stay on the ship, maybe think about getting off the ship next time and checking out this new port area. They also have right here in the port area, right before you get back over to security, it's right over here to get back on the ship, right by the taxi stand we saw. This is the museum, the Bahamas Museum of Junkanoo. So if you like some culture, if you like a museum moment, maybe go in and check this out. And here right out front is the entrance to that museum. That's cool. It looks like you have to pay because the sign down there does say complimentary access to gift shop. So I assume you have to have a ticket to go inside of Junkanoo Museum. We can look in the window here though and see some of the displays, some of the exhibits they have on display. Very colorful. And then I assume you can also leave the port area this way. So if you wanted to come straight down the pier out through security, I assume you could also leave here if you wanted to walk to other parts of town and didn't want to walk all the way to the end down there by the straw market. Well, good evening. It's now many hours later since we took our little tour of Nassau. It's now time for dinner. We've sailed away from Nassau. We're headed back to Fort Lauderdale where we'll be early in the morning. And this evening, I have been invited to dine at Blue. And Blue is the restaurant exclusive to guests staying in Aqua Class. Aqua Class is like the spa class for those of you who don't know. So I'm going to get to go to Blue, and I'm really excited because I love Blue. One of my favorite places to eat on any celebrity cruise ship. Maybe my absolute favorite place to eat. And tonight, they have one of my favorite things on the menu. So I'm about to head down there now. Like I said, it's just before 8 o'clock and have dinner. And then I'm going to come back to the room and I'm going to tell you what I thought about dinner and tell you what I thought about this cruise in general. This has been a short 3-day cruise. It's a weekend getaway cruise. The vibe has been completely different on here versus that on other celebrity cruises that I've been on in the past. So I'm going to tell you all about that when I get back to the room and tell you about dinner. There was a lot going on around the ship tonight, though. They did have a main stage production show, one that I'd already seen before, so I didn't elect to go there. We're just back from dinner in Blue now, and that was an amazing meal. And now I'm stuffed and I'm tired, and it was really good. It was really good to be in Blue, so I appreciate the invitation to get to go in there tonight and try that out. I did start out with the lump crab martini, which was good. I don't think I have a clip of that, but it was good. Then I had the butternut squash soup, and this was delicious. It actually had chunks of pork belly in it that were really crispy. I really enjoyed that. And then for my main, I had to go with the grilled ribeye. The grilled ribeye that they have in Blue, I think, is my favorite dish that they have anywhere. Specialty restaurant, Lumine, whatever other restaurants they have. It's my favorite dish anywhere on a celebrity cruise. So really enjoyed the grilled ribeye. And then for dessert, I had the peach dessert, which is kind of like a peach cobbler, and really enjoyed that as well. So a delicious night in Blue. The service was top notch. And I promised I would tell you about the cruise in general and just some thoughts that I had on the cruise. This will be the final video from here on board Celebrity Reflections. So I'm just going to walk really quick through everything I normally tell you about in a review, starting with the ship, the Celebrity Reflection. I did a full review, by the way, on Celebrity Reflection last year when I sold her. So I'll put an info card up so you can go back and check that out. There is a review already on my channel. But the Celebrity Reflection itself, I think she needs to be revolutionized. I think it's time for Celebrity to start revolutionizing some of the Solstice class ships that they haven't revolutionized yet, particularly in the staterooms. There is heavy wear and tear In the first stateroom in particular I was in, I got moved on embarkation day up a deck or two to another stateroom, but that first one I was in, the furniture and the carpet were just worn. I mean, this is not fitting of a, you know, premium cruise line. I feel like the rooms could be better. I think a lot of the rest of the ship has been very well maintained, especially the public areas, well painted. But she's showing her age, especially out on the balcony here in particular. I was out there today and I noticed this scuff in painting, and it just looks really bad for a ship that's supposed to be from a premium cruise line. So Celebrity definitely needs to update this ship. Even if they just like block off like sections of rooms at a time for each cruise and get these rooms updated, they need to do that. So please update this ship and other ships from the Soloist class Celebrity. It's time. You're going to have to do it, especially since you're marketing this as like these short cruises. It's obvious that they're trying to reach new cruisers with these short sailings. You need to have a little bit better rooms to offer people when they're on these ships. Now, the food on this ship has been incredible. I mean, in the Ocean View, I've eaten at the Ocean View more than I typically ever eat at a buffet on a cruise. Just incredible food. And in fact, on the Facebook group for this cruise, people were like, the first day they were like, oh my goodness, the food is so good at the buffet. It is. Everywhere I've had food though was really good. The first night I ended up having dinner at Ocean View. I went in there to see what they had and ended up making a plate and eating. The second night I went to the main dining room. Main dining room had some issues with service. Service was very slow. It seemed a little disorganized too. Maybe it was just where they sat me, but it was really slow service. And the food was, it was pretty good. It wasn't the best food for sure. And then of course tonight getting to go to Blue, that's like the cherry on top. That was the best meal I've had all cruise. Really good food. Can't complain though about anything. The food has been great. So when you come on these short cruises, you're still going to get the same level of quality food that you would expect on the longer sailings. Service is another place that's been top notch. I mentioned in one of my earlier videos on Reflection that they are bringing the best of the best that Celebrity has in their fleet, their crew, the best crew that they have, onto Reflection to sell these shorter cruises. So again, they're trying to have really good appeal for new cruisers who are trying Celebrity for the first time so that they'll come back. So they're putting their best foot forward. They're putting the best version of themselves out there. So the crew that they have here really know how to make people have a good cruise experience. So all the service, I can't complain about service at all. It's all been fantastic. Entertainment has been extraordinary. I've never seen so much entertainment on a Celebrity cruise. You can tell that they've really focused on providing a jam-packed night every single night of the cruise. This is a 3-night cruise, so they got to give it their best every night. I mean, the first night of the cruise, they were having like an 80s party. They were having silent disco. They were having a stage production show. They were having late night comedy. So they're throwing so much into entertainment each and every night. And even today, while we were in port, like I mentioned earlier, they were having all these pool activities and all these special things where typically they don't have a lot. Celebrity nor any other cruise line usually doesn't have a lot to offer on port days because they assume people will be in port. And speaking of port, I think the ports on this cruise, mainly because we went to Perfect at CocoCay, which is one of my favorite places in the entire Caribbean. It's a pretty good itinerary. I mean, you come to Nassau, which I know a lot of people don't like Nassau, but you get to go to Perfect Day. I got to go to the Coco Beach Club, which if you haven't watched my video on that, go back and watch that because I had a really good time there. I love CocoCay though. So I think this itinerary was great. So yeah, the cruise has been great. I mean, the service, the food, the itinerary, the entertainment, there's just been a lot of really good things on this cruise. However, I don't know that these short cruises are for me on Celebrity because while the food's still the same, the service is still the same, it's just a different vibe. It's certainly a much younger demographic on these ships. Something like 80% of the cruisers on this cruise are under the age of 65, and that's just kind of atypical from a longer typical Celebrity cruise. So it's definitely a different demographic. It's folks looking to get away for the weekend. And that's really what Celebrity's trying to market, I feel like. I feel like they're trying to bring a younger demographic to their ships in general. And this is one way they're really putting the hook, line and sinker out there to get these new cruisers on the hook and get them over onto their ships, and so that they'll book more cruises with them in the future. But I still appreciate how laid back the longer Celebrity cruises are. So I don't know. I'm not a big partier. I'm someone who likes to just read on a cruise and just kind of like hang back and do my own thing. So I appreciate all the things that they have in the terms of entertainment and stuff, but I'm not one to go to like the deck parties. And they did have a big deck party last night. They debuted I think it's called like Shine the Night or something like that, some new deck party. So they had a big deck party, but they're really bringing it with the entertainment on this ship. So when all things are considered, it's been a great cruise. I've had a great time on Celebrity Reflection. If you're looking for a cruise just to get away for the weekend, just maybe to go out to Perfect Day at CocoCay or just to go to the Bahamas, I would recommend that you check out these short cruises, especially if you can find a good deal on them. That's another thing. I feel like the short cruises, you'll pay more money per night if you break it up per night. You're going to pay more on the short cruises than you would a 7-day cruise. You have to do what works for you, but for me, I think I'll stick to the longer cruises, a little bit more laid back. Also, a 3-day cruise feels really rushed. Like, it's over before you even know it started. Like, usually takes a couple days to like settle into a cruise after travel and everything, but by the time you settle in here, it's over. Like, it's time to pack up and go home in the morning. So I hope that these videos have been helpful for you. Maybe if you're considering coming on Reflection, like I said, a great ship, great crew, great food. You'll have a great time. I am sure of that. Let me know down in the comments down below. Do you think a short cruise on Celebrity is right for you? What do you think of this concept of 3-day cruises on Celebrity? Interested to know what you think. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up down below if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure.